Hey guys, it's Sami, and this is Wrestling Unlimited, as it's Monday, and that means tonight was Monday Night Raw. So our tonight's Monday Night Raw does go from Portland, Oregon, inside of the Mata Center. I thought it was just an okay show. I didn't think there was anything special about the show. Correct me if I'm wrong. Nothing new got announced for Bad Blood. Yeah, we got the IC title match set for next week. Well, we basically knew that already. So, yeah, honestly, there were parts where I was kind of bored. And there were other parts where I'm just like, all right, that was good. Like that Xavier Woods stuff. Xavier Woods was phenomenal tonight. I would say that for sure. Woods was if I had to say like who was my standout, I'd probably say Xavier Woods. Because Xavier Woods, the way he played all that up with Kofi, we'll talk about it because I want to go deep into that and see where that's actually going. But yeah, Woods I thought was great. Ludwig cut a really good promo the second time he started talking the backstage one. The first one was fine, but the backstage one where he ripped into Sami and stuff I thought was really good as well. But yeah, got some good stuff on the show, but then I felt like there was more just meh boring that outweighed the good, if you're going to be completely honest. But we got Luke over here with us as well. Luke, how you doing? What did you think of tonight's Raw?
I'm doing all right. And as far as Raw does go, I mean, I'm going to be completely honest. I got bored through the show. The only thing, I mean, the one thing that really stood out to me tonight was the Xavier Woods stuff. I thought Xavier Woods did do pretty good tonight, but they didn't really do much for like building up to Bad Blood. I think it was just kind of the same stuff that they did last week, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tonight, I just didn't really care for Raw tonight. I mean, completely honest.
I don't know. I could see that. No, I totally understand where you're coming from. There was a lot of kind of like downtime, I felt like. And that's not to knock anybody. Like there was just matches on the show where I'm just like, what are we doing? This is okay. This is whatever. So, yeah. A lot to talk about. A 3-hour show. They're going 2 hours soon in just a couple of weeks. Then they'll go back to 3 hours on Netflix, I believe. Actually, what I heard is, and this was also reported by Dave Meltzer and I think Sean Ross Sapp and others, that the show is going to be tentatively about 3 hours on Netflix. But if they want to go shorter, they can go shorter. If they need to stretch that and go just a tiny bit longer, they can go a tiny bit longer. Netflix is not going to give them a hard out and say it has to be this long or it has to be this short. So there might be times where we get a tiny bit longer than a 3-hour show. I hope not. But then I was told, yeah, there could be times where this show can go 2.5 hours on Netflix, maybe even 2 some weeks, just depending on what they have and what they're trying to build and stuff. So we'll see how that all does play out once January does roll around. Also, I do want to tell you guys, go watch Heels on Netflix. If you haven't already, or if you've already watched both seasons when it aired on Stars, do it again. Please go do it again. Go watch Heels on Netflix, because if it does well, there's a slight chance it can get a 3rd season. Now, if you don't know, Heels is a show that aired on Stars that basically was about independent pro wrestling in the Southeast. It focused on a small little family-ran promotion called the DWL, Duffy Wrestling League. And their big rival promotion was out of Florida, and it was ran by Charlie Gully, played by Mike O'Malley. Mike O'Malley, a phenomenal actor. You may know him from multiple hosting gigs on Nickelodeon back in the early 90s. He was also on the CBS show Yes Dear. And the show is starring Stephen Amell, who you guys know from Arrow, or who you guys know from fighting, who did Cody team with at that SummerSlam where he fought Stephen Amell? Stephen Amell and Neville versus Stardust, and I can't remember his partner. Who was it? Do you remember?
Wade Barrett?
No, it might have been. Hold on. It was, King Barrett. But then you also might know him from the original All In event where he took on Christopher Daniels. But this show is amazing.
They accused.
Go for it.
It's because Christopher Daniels accused him of killing Joey Ryan.
Yeah. So it also stars Alexander Ludwig, who you might know from the show Vikings. They play the Spade brothers after their father passes away. Won't say how. Won't give any spoilers here if you haven't seen it. But after their father passes away, older brother Jack Spade, played by Stephen Amell, takes over the company. And yeah, it's basically the story of Jack is a nice guy in real life. Kind of got his demons and his problems, and whatnot. But for the most part, he's the nice guy that plays the heel wrestler. Then his brother, Ace Spade, is the complete, total dick, asshole in real life, but plays the everyone loves me babyface. And because he's such a dick in real life, needs that babyface role, needs the love from the fans. And when he stops getting it, all hell goes loose. But that's all I'm going to say. Heels, it is on Netflix now. Go watch it because there's a possibility it gets the Cobra Kai treatment. If it does well on Netflix and Netflix sees that a lot of people are watching it, maybe they give us a third season. Or maybe someone else picks it up for a third season because this, speaking of Stephen Amell, happened with Suits. If you don't remember back in the day, Suits aired on, I want to say, the USA Network, and it did very well for USA. But once the show ended, it kind of just died out. No one really talked about it till it came back to life on Netflix. Well, because Suits was a huge hit on Netflix for people going back and watching all the old episodes, NBC Universal, who did the show originally on the USA Network, is bringing it back with a spin-off series starring Stephen Amell called Suits LA. All because it got popular again on Netflix. So you guys go to Netflix and watch Heels. It is, I want to say, 16, 17 episodes for both seasons. But technically, if you really watch it right, it's just one long season. A real TV show, and I hate all of this goddamn streaming bullshit where it's like, a TV show on Netflix or on streaming is only 8 to 10 episodes. But then you watch one on like ABC or CBS or NBC and you get the full 20 episodes. And that's basically what Heels Season 1 and Season 2 is. Because where Season 1 ends, literally, Season 2 starts at the exact moment Season 2 ends. The exact moment of a main event match ends, and then Season 2 starts with those wrestlers getting out of the ring, basically. So go watch Heels. It's basically one season. It's broken up into two, though. They did have issues as far as, like, when they started the show, they started filming, COVID hit. So they got screwed there. Then they started doing Season 2, strike hit. Writer strike, then the actor strike. And what really hampered Season 2 of Stars when it premiered was that actor strike because none of the actors were allowed to promote the show. None of the actors were allowed to do interviews, media tours, any social media posts saying, hey, Season 2 of our show comes out this week. Season 2 of our show is coming out here. Except for, well, Stephen Amell kind of got around it. He went on a run in his neighborhood and knew where the billboard was for Heels that Stars has set up because Stars can still kind of promote the show. And so he took a picture on his run, a selfie of himself, but the billboard was in the background. So he got a little clever for it. People gave him a little heat and hate for it, but go watch Heels on Netflix. Even if you don't like pro wrestling, even though you probably do since you're watching this, go watch it. I know people that hate wrestling but love Heels because what Heels does, and this is the last thing I'm going to say about it, what Heels does perfectly is balances the wrestling and the non-wrestling. You'll get episode 1. Full-on wrestling episode. It's all about the show. It's all about putting on that show at the Duffy Arena and this and that. And then you go to episode 2, there's almost no wrestling at all. It's all about story, characters, this town. You go to episode 3, you got more wrestling. 4, no wrestling. Just character-driven. And they balance that and they go back and forth, which is why so many non-wrestling fans love this show because there is more than just wrestling here. And it is amazing. The entire cast is perfect. So go watch Heels. It's now on Netflix, both seasons. Can't talk more glowingly about this show. And Season 2 ends on 3 cliffhangers because they thought they were getting a Season 3. And then Stars goes, oh, we're canceling X, Y, Z, boo, boo. Because like 5 shows at once. And Heels was unfortunately one of them. But have you watched Heels yet?
No, I have not.
Oh man, you should watch it. It's amazing. It's amazing. I will say one thing. If you've got kids, you might not want them to watch. Because in episode 1, there is a sex scene, and I think there's one in episode 2 as well. Like, Kelly Berglund gets completely naked and fucks Alexander Ludwig backstage before one of his matches because he gets a little nervous. So there is that. There is that. And that's why it's a star show. But regardless, other than there's a couple sex scenes throughout the 2 seasons, and I think there are more in season 1 than even season 2 anyways. Other than that, great show to watch with anybody. Like, other than that, I don't see anything else that if you let your kids watch wrestling, you can let your kids watch this. Just when they go into the back room and you can tell they're about to flip, fast forward real fast. Anyways, enough of that rant. Again, go watch Heels. Anyway, what were you going to say? Uh-oh, I think Luke froze.
Yeah, just put him in the other room and just hurry up and fast forward.
Oh, you don't even need to do that. Just be like, close your eyes real fast. That's what we would do. That's what I would do. Is be like, close your eyes. Anyways, I do want to say thank you for joining us here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. Remember, if you are watching live on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways. You can either help us out by hitting that donate button down below or by donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can help us out by subscribing to the channel, one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe with Amazon Prime. Because remember, if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming. Prime Gaming gives you a lot of cool things like free games, free stuff for games, and you always get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And I'd greatly appreciate it if you did right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Also, go help us out over on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. That way you know when we post new videos. That way you know when we go live. And that way you know when we post to the community tab. Also, if you want to support the channel in another way, you can hit the join button to become a channel member. You can do so a number of different ways. And even if it's just at the $1 tier, we greatly appreciate that. Whether that's youtube.com/PW Unlimited or patreon.com/PW Unlimited. And also remember, if you want to get your comment, question, or concern read live on the air, you can do so by donating a super chat in the live chat. And finally, head over to the Epic Game Store. Head over to the Epic Game Store and buy something. Whether you're buying a new game, whether you're buying an old game, whether you're claiming a free game or getting bucks for Rocket League, Fortnite, or Fall Guys, use this code right here, PW Unlimited at checkout, and you will be supporting us at no extra cost. Maybe you're getting into that new Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2, pre-ordering EA Sports FC 25, or claiming the free games, which right now is Rugrats Adventures in Gameland and Super Crazy Rhythm Castle. We do have a full gameplay video of Rugrats Adventures in Gameland up on my other YouTube channel, Timmy Buddy, and it's also on my Twitch, twitch.tv/Timmy Buddy. The game can be beaten in about an hour or so if you would want a quick, fun little platformer game. Took me a little longer, but with that, it's a quick, easy game, and I think it's really fun. It has a lot of nostalgic things to it if you're a big Rugrats fan from back in the day. Remember, use this code right here, PWUNLIMITED, for all Epic Games and Epic Game Store purchases. With all of that, before we talk about Monday Night Raw, some news came out this evening about the potential AEW Warner Brothers Discovery TV deal. Now, I don't have all the information here because it did come out from Puck News, which is a subscription-based newsletter. Now, the article that this comes from, I want to say is an article, and it's written by, I'm going to get the right name here, John Orand. There's a lot of connections within TV and sports and stuff. And I believe the article and the big talk here is about Warner Brothers Discovery, TV deals, and all that kind of stuff. But there are some stuff that he does talk about pertaining to the AEW deal. And this is bullet pointed out from WrestleNomics' Brandon Thurston. So I do want to give Brandon Thurston some credit here as well, because he did go through the Puck article and take out the key points, as Thurston does tweet, quote, John Orand at Puck reports AEW's new media deal with Warner Brothers Discovery, quote, looks like, end quote, it will be a 4-year deal. 3 years guaranteed, and with a 1-year option. Orand says $170 million per year, quote, is apparently in the ballpark. He says AEW will air on TNT, TBS, and True TV twice per week as part of a strategy to make True TV more sports oriented. Now, going off on a little thing here, when it comes to them wanting more sports on True TV, we're already seeing that with the TNT Sports NASCAR deal. Now, NASCAR will run, I want to say, 6 races next summer on TNT Sport for the next, I want to say, 5 years. But NASCAR and TNT Sport have already started their relationship, as 2 weeks ago, they started a studio show called Inside NASCAR, where they bring in different NASCAR reporters, different NASCAR wrestlers, and insiders talk about that week in NASCAR. It airs on Thursdays on True TV. Basically, they want more sports in primetime on True TV. Thurston continues by writing, quote, "The announcement of the deal, quote, could come as soon as next week, barring any last-minute changes." Now, here's where things get interesting. He says AEW is pitching an additional package to broadcast networks. We'll come back to that in a second. The report at one point refers to AEW as, quote, second-tier wrestling, though Oran writes that the deal, quote, marks a clear success for AEW. A couple of things to break down here. AEW is pitching an additional package to broadcast networks. When we heard the news that AEW could be talking to Fox, we thought there's no way they're going to go on regular Fox. It's going to be an FS1 or a Tubi deal. But this stating that they're pitching to broadcast networks means that they may have potentially talked to more than just Fox. Who could that be? We know it's not NBC because they're in bed with WWE. We know it's not CW because they're in bed with WWE. So it's got to be Fox, CBS, or ABC. But could it be ABC? While ABC, which is owned by Disney, which also owns ESPN, is in bed with UFC, which is under the same company of WWE. So if I do some deductive reasoning here, looks like Fox could be getting an AEW program. Maybe CBS. There is still that slight possibility of ABC, but we don't really know that per se. Fox, again, is the one that the news did come out recently. Now, here's the other thing to look at. Think if they get the Fox deal. That's one show. Then this says they will be on TNT, TBS, and True TV twice a week. Are we about to get 5 weekly AEW shows? 5 AEW shows a week? Luke, what do you take of all this new news that broke tonight? Now, before anything, I want to just preface, this has not been announced by either AEW or Warner Brothers Discovery. This was put out there by John Oran of Puck, who I have seen in the past report accurate things on sports TV deals, but go for it.
This is a lot of information to take in.
Yeah.
But 5 AEW shows a week. Jesus Christ.
Now, some other things, I don't know if... So, just to give more context really quickly. The current deal that AEW has with Warner Brothers Discovery is a, quote, exclusive deal, which doesn't end till the end of the year. So, even if they do sign a deal with Fox, per se, that can't start till January anyway. So, just keep that in mind as well, because they're still currently under an exclusive deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. What do you think of potentially 5 AEW shows a week? What would that look like?
Could you imagine like the mixed ratings on those shows?
Well, it all really depends on the days. We know Dynamite's not going to move off of Wednesday. That's the one solid, ain't going nowhere. But then it's like, okay, so this TBS, I assume, keeps Dynamite. TNT on Saturdays keeps Collision, I guess. And then what, Rampage and something else goes to True TV? Is what I would think. And now I don't know the full details on this NASCAR studio show that they have on True TV on Thursdays. I don't know if it's just during the season or if it's going to be all year long. But again, that airs on Thursdays on True TV. So does that rule out a Thursday night show for AEW on True TV? So then they've got what? They're not going to run head to head with Raw on Monday unless they throw something up late at 11. I don't know. Like they do, if they do like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Rampage style thing where they put it on after WWE. But we do have someone in the chat. Jennifer Williams says, forget about the ratings. You're going to see a lot of empty seats. And Melvin says, what about AEW pay-per-views on Max? We don't know about that. This is all the news that came out in the Puck article about the TV portion of the deal. That's all we know right now. It is expected that pay-per-views could go to Max and maybe even, according to Andrew Zarian, do a simulcast. But the news we got here from John Orand, all we know right now is TV stuff. We hadn't heard anything from streaming. But, yeah. 5 potential AEW shows. And then the interesting thing here, too, also, the report at one point refers to AEW as, quote, second-tier wrestling. Which,
what does that even mean?
It means they ain't close to number one. It means WWE is number one and they are number two. Which Dave Meltzer. So here's the thing. Everybody always says Dave Meltzer will never talk bad about AEW. Dave Meltzer thinks AEW is the best. Dave loves AEW. You guys even listen to Dave's podcast? Last Friday night, Dave Meltzer did his Wrestling Observer Radio with his co-host Garrett Gonzalez and literally said AEW is a distant number 2 and cannot even come close to what WWE is doing right now. The man that everybody says will never talk down about AEW, the man that everybody says thinks AEW is better than WWE, literally said they can't do the ratings WWE does. They can't sell the tickets WWE does. And they are a, quote, in his words, distant number 2 with no growth in sight right now. Let me see if I can find the quote that Dave actually said. Give me a second. Because everybody's always like, Dave loves AEW. Dave thinks AEW is the best. Well, Dave ain't always talking glowing about AEW. If you actually listen to Dave's shows, he will tell you AEW's got problems and they're big. So Dave,
I know at one point.
Yeah, go for it.
I would say at one point, AEW was doing a lot better than WWE. I'd say like once they brought in like Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson, that's when a lot of people were saying, oh yeah, AEW is doing a lot better than WWE right now.
So they were never beating Raw and SmackDown in ratings. That's the thing. They were doing great. Attendance was up. But yeah, so what Dave said was he said AEW will be and will continue to be a very distant number 2 to WWE. Quote, there are no signs of a turnaround, and states that they paid a lot of money to bring in 3 big wrestlers earlier this year. Will Ospreay has been somewhat of a success. Okada was never going to be a TV draw in America because, well, not many of the casual fans in America know him. Then he says, Mercedes, well, she's been a big disappointment as far as she does not draw for AEW. Again, that all comes from Dave Meltzer, who you guys cry and whine about saying that he's biased towards AEW. So take that in. But we'll see. According to this John Orand article, the announcement could come next week with the AEW and WBD. So we'll have to wait around and see exactly what does get announced. Do you have any other closing thoughts on this before we talk Raw?
I think that's about it.
Also, 170 million. That's huge. Because I saw some people predicting that if they can get in the range of 125, that would be good and successful. But if they're getting way more than 125, because I think right now they're getting, what is it, 90 million a year? I could be wrong on that. Correct me in the comments or the chat. But like I saw, I think it was Brandon Thurston, John Pollock, Jimmy Van from Fightful, and Dave Meltzer, maybe Brian Alvarez as well. We're all saying, 125 is what they need to be successful with this new TV deal. If they're getting 170, ooh boy, that's really good for them. So We'll let it all play out and see where it goes, but that is the latest news pertaining to the upcoming potential AEW Warner Brothers Discovery TV deal, maybe even more as they're pitching to broadcast networks. Just think about this. What if AEW gets a show on Fox? What would you think of that one?
It would be funny. It would remind me of like when TNA went to Spike after WWE left Spike.
So what I heard reported was that Fox would be interested in AEW because they would get it at such a cheaper price than they were paying WWE. The issue with WWE is they didn't want to lose wrestling, but the amount of money they were paying, say they were paying WWE up here, the advertising money they were bringing in was down here. It was not even. But with AEW, they're going to want to pay them here, maybe hoping that the ad revenue is more, if that makes sense. So, but at the same time, if Fox goes out and says, hey, you want to put ads on an AEW show, is that going to appeal to advertisers the same way of, you want to put ads on a WWE show? So we'll just see. Also, if they go to Fox, at least in the fall, they ain't going to be on Fridays. It's not going to be a Friday night show because Fox is now doing college football on Fridays. I'm just trying in my head to figure out what day of the week could they be on Fox. They wouldn't want to go against SmackDown head to head, but at the same time, also, Fox is going to have college football, so I don't know. It's crazy. And it's hopefully this news, an official announcement is coming soon. But as far as Monday Night Raw does go, the show from Portland, Oregon, inside the Mata Center, did open up with Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest entering the building, Judgment Day, Damage Control, Jade and Bianca, Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed, and, well, CM Punk wearing a Bret Hart sweatshirt arriving at the building and coming out to the ring to open the show. Punk spoke slowly and deliberately throughout his promo, making sure you heard that he's making a point here. He said that people asked him how many more matches that he thinks he has left. And the answer would make some very disappointed. He says he had way more matches than you think, though. The crowd cheered. Punk said that when he returned, he was there to not make friends. He was there to make money. He wasn't also here, though, to make mortal enemies, yet he did with Drew McIntyre. He then said that the only way to end things with him and Drew inside Hell in a Cell is that Drew is going to have to kill him. He said he was naive to think that he was over just because he touched 4 turnbuckles in Berlin. McIntyre was naive to think that it was over as well. This probably should have been over when McIntyre sent him to the hospital for the second time, but Punk was too damn stubborn. Punk was asked, how many more Hell in a Cell matches do you think you really can do? He said, to be honest, 0. I shouldn't even do this one. He said, my little sister asked me not to do this. My wife begged me not to do this match. The angel on my shoulder begged me not to do this. Punk then said that he wanted everyone to know exactly why he will do this match. Punk once told McIntyre that if he pushed him too far and far enough, he could become the devil. Well, the devil is here. The devil is in his heart, and it told him that the only way to end this is hell in a cell. The same heart McIntyre promised that he would stop. Punk then said, quote, Drew McIntyre, I can't promise I'm going to kill you because I won't make promises that I can't 100% deliver. So, here's my promise. I'm going to make you bleed. And I promise that you're going to have to kill me because I am prepared to die. I am prepared for my heart to stop beating. I am prepared for this to all be over with. I had a great career, and if this is the end, so be it. I am prepared for this to be the end of CM Punk. And if you're prepared for this to be the end of Drew McIntyre, then I'll see you in hell. Punk then dropped the mic and left, and boy, when I say cut a promo to make me want to see a match, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. This promo was awesome, and it told me that these two guys are going to just throw everything at the wall to beat the other, basically. I thought this was fantastic. What'd you think?
Oh yeah, this is really good. Here's my whole thing with the Bad Blood show. I mean, this is the only match with like a stipulation. I'm kind of surprised there's not any other matches with like some sort of stipulation, considering I feel like, because at least to me, I feel like this is supposed to be like Triple H's like version of like Extreme Rules.
But why?
I don't know if you feel the same way.
But why do you think that is my question? What has led you to feel that way? Because you're not the only one to say this. I had a couple comments in a video I posted last night or this morning, I think, that said the same thing.
Well, because like Triple H has always been like the guy. He doesn't like shows named after like matches unless there's like some sort of exception, like Royal Rumble. You're competing in the match called Royal Rumble,
right,
to like go to Mania. That's the exception. Money in the Bank. You're climbing the ladder to win a briefcase called like Money in the Bank. Like those are exceptions. But like Hell in a Cell, like that's not really a good exception, in my opinion. I feel like Bad Blood, sounds like a very like extreme, like an extreme like match. I don't know. So I might just be thinking too much into this.
So I get where you're coming from, but hear me out. If you look at previous Bad Blood pay-per-views, they weren't all filled with hardcore matches. Yes, most of them, if not all of them, actually, now that I'm looking at it, now that it finally loaded and I got it pulled up here, all of them have been main evented by a Hell in a Cell. But if I'm looking and I'm pulling up the card for each individual show here, if I'm looking here, the Hell in a Cell match on each card was the only stipulation match. Maybe. So the first Bad Blood in 97 saw Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, first Hell in a Cell. That show also had a flag match. Bret Hart and the British Bulldog versus the Patriot and Vader. Other than that, all of the regular matches. Then the next pay-per-view, the next Bad Blood was in 2003. Main evented by Triple H and Goldberg inside Hell in a Cell. No, Triple H and Kevin Nash inside Hell in a Cell. Other than that, looking at the card, singles match, tag match, singles match, tag match, singles match. No other stips. Except for, that's the show they did the Steve Austin, Eric Bischoff Redneck Triathlon, but that's a whole different thing. Then we had 2004 Bad Blood. Main event, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Hell in a Cell. All the other matches, singles match, four-way, singles match, tag, singles match, no stips. Other than that main event. And then we have this one. The only stip match is the Hell in a Cell match. So when you look at it, though, I get where you could say Bad Blood sounds like a show where people are all going to try to kill each other. So it should be all stip matches. I get that. But when you look back at the lineage of Bad Blood, they all really only had Hell in a Cell matches as their main event, as their big stip match.
So you think for future Bad Bloods, they're going to have like a main event stip match? So that basically take back Triple H's word of like Hell in a Cell needs to end rivalries?
Probably not. Because again, Triple H doesn't want to be stifled into, September pay-per-view has to have a Hell in a Cell match. That's not what he wants. Because a Hell in a Cell match is not a, as you stated earlier, Royal Rumble or Money in the Bank, which I consider, if you want to label those, you call them opportunity matches. So because they are not, just random stip matches, bull rope match, dog collar match, Extreme Rules match, ladder match, TLC, those are just stip matches. I wouldn't name a pay-per-view after those. And I know Vince did in the past, Extreme Rules, TLC, Hell in a Cell. But like you said, putting the opportunity matches as the name makes sense. Others, not really. So I don't think, if they do a Bad Blood next year, I don't think they main event it with another Hell in a Cell. Because then it would make Triple H look like a hypocrite. And it would just be more of, that means the August, September show's got to have a Hell in a Cell match on it. And that's what Triple H wants to get away of, is stip matches being too predictable on when they're going to happen. As we move forward, Kathy Kelly interviews Sheamus backstage in Gorilla before his match. Sheamus said that Dunne really hit him where it hurts. Not because he smashed his hand or his back, but because he took his dream away from him. The one mountain Sheamus still has left to climb is winning the Intercontinental Championship. Now, it was time to inflict pain on his protege. Which I'm like, he's not your protege. Pete Dunne was around way longer than he was with you. You just kind of got lumped together in the Brawling Brutes. So it's like calling Pete Dunne his protege, I felt is a little kind of dumb. Pete Dunne was around in WWE, whether that was NXT or NXT UK, way longer than he was with Sheamus. Anyways, Dunne, he says that Dunne hated when people call him Butch. So tonight, Dunne will become Butch. And he wants everyone to chant Butch at him. What do you think of this Sheamus Pete Dunne feud over the name Butch, basically?
Yeah, this has been going on for too long.
It's been almost 2 months since they kind of started it. Now, granted, I get why they stretched it out, because they had to do the whole Sheamus had his hand injured, and so they had to keep him off for the hand injury. And I like that. They didn't rush it because they actually did injury angles. Because we've seen WWE, AEW, and others do an injury angle and rush the guy back to where it's not believable. At least with this one, they kept Sheamus off TV for a little bit, and yeah. As far as the match does goes, 11 minutes and 15 seconds. Dunne tried stomping Sheamus' bad hand against the steel steps early on, but Sheamus saw it coming and gave Dunne a soft-looking Alabama slam on the announce table. Like he didn't really sink it all in. After a commercial break, Sheamus tried an avalanche white noise, but Dunne countered with a sit-out powerbomb for a 2. The crowd then chanted, Butch, and Dunne got pissed off and hammered away at Sheamus. Sheamus then called him a bitch, and then came back with the power slam and a diving knee drop for a 2. Dunne then escaped a razor's edge attempt and went to the top, but Sheamus brought him down with a middle rope power slam for a near fall. Sheamus then followed this up with 16 beats of the Bowdrin. Dunne grabbed the shillelagh, but Sheamus nailed the knee strike. Sheamus then saw the shillelagh and was tempted to use it. The ref took it away. As the ref then put it away, Dunne grabbed a cricket bat and hit Sheamus in the arm with it. Full-on real cricket bat, and that thing was loud when he hit him. Spot didn't look good for Sheamus. Looked like it hurt. Anyways, I think Dunne also knew that he maybe hit him too hard or something, because instead of going straight for the cover, he followed this up with a running boot and then pinned Sheamus to pick up the victory. So Pete Dunne does get the big win over the former world champion. What do you think of the match?
I thought the match was pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm glad Pete Dunne got the win.
Same.
I just don't know who like gets like the big win in this feud though. Like,
you think it still goes? You don't think it's over now?
You think it's over?
Kinda. I do.
I don't know.
So as we move forward, Jey Uso approached Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, or as they call them, the Terror Twins. Jey knew that Priest wouldn't want him out there for his match against Dom later, but he wanted Priest to know that he'd be keeping an eye on them just in case. Priest said he appreciated it. This is when Xavier Woods was then approached. Woods and Jey were happy to see each other, but Priest wasn't as happy. Woods acknowledged that, well, they've had their differences in the past. Woods said that Priest wanted to do things on his own as a champion, and New Day wanted to do their things on their own as well against the New Day, or the Judgment Day tonight in their title shot. Woods then asked the Terror Twins, hey, I know Judgment Day is probably going to come out, and I know Judgment Day is probably going to try and get involved in my match, but please, let us do this on our own. Don't come out there and think you got to fight off the Judgment Day for us. Priest was good with it and told Woods, go beat their asses. Woods and Jey then left, and Ripley seemed smitten with old Jey Uso, and she was like, oh, yeet. when he walked away. So this is the beginning of the Xavier Woods killing it on tonight's show. Miz was with wished Braun Strowman luck against Bronson Reed tonight. Miz also wanted to know what Braun Strowman meant when he said that he was not a match for Reed. Strowman meant no disrespect at all. Miz began running down his accomplishments. Strowman knew the career he had is that sometimes it takes a monster to beat a monster. Miz seemed fine with all this and understood what exactly Strowman finally meant and was like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. And then he gave Strowman some words of encouragement. Basically, it was like, oh, you're not telling me that I just suck. You're just telling me that this guy's a lot bigger than me. And it takes someone his size to beat him, at least right now. So, not a bad segment. I thought it was okay. What I didn't care for was this goddamn 7-minute match between Natalya and Zoe Stark. This match was 7 minutes, and I got like 3 lines of notes because this match was just nothing happening. So we go about 2 minutes, and then we go to a break. Maybe 90 seconds. It's like 90 seconds to 2 minutes. After the break, Natalya blocked a springboard dropkick and hit a German suplex. Stark then blocked a clothesline and hit a thrust kick for a 2. Natalya countered Stark's finisher, and Stark countered a sharpshooter. They then traded some cradles here and there, and then eventually Natty just rolled her up and pinned her 1, 2, 3. That was it. A nothing happening 7-minute match. Boy, howdy, was that a waste of time. What'd you think?
Seemed like a waste of time to me.
Yeah, I didn't care for this match at all. I was just like, huh?
Neither did I.
To go to the back, Kathy Kelly tried to interview Rhea Ripley, but Finn Balor would interrupt instead. Balor said that Ripley was just as bad as Priest. She acted like they were a family, but she only cared about herself the whole time. He blamed her and Priest as the reason that he wasn't world champion last year. It was also their own fault that they weren't world champions now. Ripley said that Balor wasn't going to lie straight to her face and rewrite history. They were a family. All she tried to do was make opportunities for them and stop them from fighting every single week. He could make her the bad guy in this story if he really wants to. She and Priest would show them how bad they could be at bad blood. Balor says he has no more to tell. Has one more thing to tell her. When Liv Morgan, the moves on Dom, and Dom was trying to resist, Balor was the devil on Dom's shoulder saying, quote, I told him to go Liv. I told him, forget about you. It was me. Whoo! Little shit stir. I like this. I like the way he did this. He was like, hey, I told him, screw you. Like, damn. Hot damn. Plus, Liv was giving them PlayStations and wings and shit. Yeah, of course. What was Rhea doing? Rhea was home injured. So, before the segment ends, though, Jey Uso steps in and asked if there was a problem here. But I was like, hey, no problem. And told him to concentrate on your title shot against Braun Breaker. Because he's out of your league. Balor then left. What'd you think of all this? There's still more, but what'd you think of all this so far?
I thought they already had their own PlayStation.
Well, no, the whole thing was someone gave them a PS5 that they were playing WWE on. They were playing 2K on. And we were supposed to think that the PlayStation was a gift from Liv. That was the whole thing. Because remember, before Liv got involved, they weren't playing video games in the clubhouse. They were just hanging out trying to get R-Truth out. On a old box TV. All they had in there was an old box TV when it was, pre-Liv. Then all of a sudden, Liv's snooping around. They got a damn flat screen and a PS5. Think about that one.
Not wrong on that one, actually.
So Rhea Ripley then told Jey Uso that Balor, he's got no point. Not about Jey being out of her league, that is. That. He should focus on his IC title match, though. He told her not to worry, and he was on his way to the ring to focus on that right now. Then we got a segment with Jey Uso, Bron Breaker. This wasn't bad. This is pretty good. Jey in the ring cut a promo as the crowd yeeted him between sentences. The yeet's the new what, kind of. He said that he wanted to become a singles champion since coming to Raw and since leaving the bloodline. Said that he didn't need anyone's help and he would finally win a singles title and become main event Jey Uso. Bron Breaker would then interrupt. Braun previously told Jey to stay away. And yet, here we are. You're going after my belt. Braun knew that Jey wanted to prove to his family that he could do this on his own. Jey has been here for 14 years and was one of the biggest stars in WWE. Braun says that he has done more as a single star in 6 months than Jey in his entire career. Braun said that he did it without his father. He did it without his uncle. He didn't need his family. He didn't need anybody's help or even their name to make a name for himself. I really, really like that line. Didn't even need their name. So the championship was his family. It's all that he needed. He fought for the title, and it fought for him. Quote, I'm a dog, and that's what I do. Braun said that he would expose Jey next week because he was nothing without his family. They go face to face here, and the crowd starts yelling, yeet again. Jey removed his shades, and Jey said, quote, I see it. I see it in you, Braun. You got the dog in you, Oos. Jey wouldn't take Braun lightly, but let him know that he's been winning championships for 14 years since Braun was in diapers. Jey said that he would dog walk him next week, and Braun's reign would be just as short as his career in the NFL. Jeez. That pissed off Braun. Go for it.
That was probably like promo of the night right there.
You think so? Better than Punk?
I don't know. Like telling Braun your title reign's gonna be shorter than your NFL career. That's pretty good.
Let me see. Bron Breaker, NFL. Bron Breaker, as far as the NFL does go, he was in April of 2020. He was signed by the Baltimore Ravens as an undrafted free agent fullback. By August, he was released. So that's April, May, June, July, August. 4 months. So yeah, if Jey beats him, it'll be shorter. Barely, but it'll be shorter. Like I said, this pissed off Braun. He got in Jey's face. Braun then backed off, but then decked Jey with the right hand. Braun went for a spear, and Jey speared him instead. This is really good. This was really good. I liked it. I'm going to be honest. I felt like for the most part, the talking segments, the building up to the matches, were the better parts of tonight's Raw than the actual matches themselves. So Eos Sky confronted Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair in the back. He was pissed at Belair for challenging Kairi Sane to a match because she has an injured eye. Belair told Sky she didn't make the challenge. She was booked for the match, and she never backs down from a fight. Belair said if Sane was injured, maybe Io could jump in her place, and Io accepted. That's kind of cool. Basically, it's just telling us, hey, the booker booked me to fight you, but if you don't think you can go, let's put in a suitable replacement. And I will say, Io and Bianca may have had the best match of the night. I thought they had a really good match. As far as the tag title match does go, it's the Judgment Day's Finn Balor and JD McDonough defending against the New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods in an 8.5 minute match. So I want to clear something up here that I saw on social media saying, well, you could tell the New Day are going to split because they wore mismatching gear. Are you guys fucking stupid? Are you guys dumb? Just because Kofi wore green and Woods wore black doesn't mean it was mismatching gear. If I'm remembering correctly, give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up a picture of the New Day from tonight. This was their... I can't remember if it was their Power Ranger or their Street... this is their Power Ranger gear. They're literally wearing their Power Ranger gear, which is matching. Kofi was Tommy the Green Ranger, and Woods was Zack the Black Ranger. So for people online going, well, yeah, they told us before the match started, as they've been telling us, that they're going to split because they wore different gear than each other. No, they didn't wear mismatching gear. They represented a different freaking goddamn Power Ranger. Just like when they wear their Ninja Turtle gear. One, I believe, is Michelangelo, and the other's Raphael. I could be wrong on that one. But they wear different colors because they're different turtles. So I just want to get that off the chest. Go for it.
I saw Woods wearing that White Ranger jumpsuit, like going into Raw when they were doing the whole the part where they were like having the wrestlers walk in the building.
Right. Yeah.
Those jumpsuits actually look cool, but they're so expensive.
Oh, trust me, I've looked. But yeah, they weren't wearing. I keep
seeing them like putting ads about those on Instagram and stuff, and I'm like, they look cool because I know they made a Deadpool and Wolverine ones, and they have like the GI Joe ones as well.
Yep.
The GI Joe ones are probably my favorite ones. I really want to get the Shadow one.
I'm wrong. It wasn't Power Rangers. It was Mortal Kombat. I got it mixed up. My bad. But regardless, they're not mismatching. They're just different Mortal Kombat characters. Anyways, keep going.
Again, like but like the GI Joe like jumpsuits, like there's the Shadow one that I really want to get.
Nice.
But those things are like they're pricey.
Oh yeah.
Like the hood, like the jacket and like the pants together, it's like almost $300. It's not even worth it.
Trust me,
those things don't even keep you warm.
Nope.
Those things don't even keep you warm. It's just workout gear.
Where was I? Let me get back to my notes here. So, as far as the match does go, not a bad match, but I wouldn't call it a great match either. A New Day were in control early on, and we went to a commercial break about a minute in or so. Maybe 45 seconds, not even a full minute, probably about a minute. Judgment Day were in control after the break, and they didn't tell us how. Kingston hit Balor with an SOS, and Woods made the hot tag to run wild on JD McDonough. Kingston and Woods then knocked Balor out of the ring, and Kingston dropped him with a flip dive. Woods then gave McDonough a sit-out powerbomb for a near fall. Morgan, Dom, Carlito, they all came out to the ring. Woods was perplexed upon seeing the LWO then come out after them to even the odds. As the teams brawled, McDonough used the distraction to apply a cradle, but Woods would kick out and then super kick McDonough. Kingston then did a trust fall dive off the top to Judgment Day and the LWO on the floor. Woods then hit McDonough with a springboard elbow, but there was no referee. He couldn't go for the pin because the ref was busy on the outside dealing with all these people. Woods then got pissed off, jumped out of the ring, tried to get the ref to get back in the ring, and when he did, he was knocked down, pinned, and they lost. They lost. New Day do not win the titles because of all the distraction on the outside that distracted the ref and distracted Woods, basically. So after the match, Kofi helps Woods up, and Woods is like, no, get off of me. I've had enough. Something has got to change, is what he told Kofi. He said, I'm tired of it, and something has to change. Strong segment, I will say that, for the end and what we get next. Like, really what we get next. What'd you think of the match and the little post-match, little, like, not brawl or tussle kind of deal, but just, like, anger?
It wasn't bad.
Esports Gaming Rules must be out of the loop with a bit donation here. He says, did they cancel the New Day Odyssey Jones storyline? Well, yeah, because they let Odyssey Jones go. Odyssey Jones was let go due to sexual misconduct allegations. I wanted to frame it correctly.
I thought it was just
it was like a domestic thing, but now I read something and someone saying it could be like, yeah.
I thought it was just domestic.
I heard it could be a little bit more than that, but I'll leave it at that. So after a break, Kathy Kelly tried to interview Kofi Kingston, and he's like, Kelly, I can't talk right now. No, I'm sorry, but I need to go find Woods. We need to talk about this. And we start hearing some yelling, and it's Woods yelling at the LWO saying, what the hell was all that? Why'd you guys come out there? Why'd you get involved? And Kofi's like, whoa, hey, calm down. I asked them to come out. I know that they know how to handle the Judgment Day. So I asked them that if Judgment Day comes out, you guys come out to watch our backs. Woods then looks over at Kofi and goes, excuse me? Why? We didn't need no help. We won titles in the past with no help. He goes, actually, we won all that because we had E. We had Big E back then. And Woods goes, oh, so we're not good enough? I'm not good enough? We can't win matches without E? Kings is like, that's not what I meant, and you know. And Woods is like, no, what I know and want to know is why did my partner inform the LWO about the plan and not me? Woods says that Kingston was leaving him in the dark. And he didn't know what the hell was going on anymore, and he stormed off. Oh, boy, was this good. I thought Xavier Woods was on another level here. I thought he was freaking amazing. What do you think?
Oh yeah, this is pretty good. I mean, could be a potential New Day split.
I think so. Now, I don't want to see a Woods versus Kofi rivalry or anything, but I want Woods basically to be like, Kofi, all due respect, I need to just take some time for myself and do things on my own for a little bit. So we're not really splitting and breaking up the New Day, but more of a, hey, give me some time, some breathing room for a little bit. You know what I mean? That's what I think it's going to lead to. We're never going to get that formal split up feud the New Day. That ain't ever going to happen. But go our separate ways and do our own thing for a couple months. I can see that. So, did you see any of the stuff from the UFC in the Sphere this past weekend?
I did. I saw clips of it.
Oh,
I saw
boy.
Fightful repost. Fightful reposted it, and I think somebody said, or a lot of people actually said, WWE needs to have an event in the Sphere.
So what Fightful had reposted, what you're talking about, is the intro video for the pay-per-view. Now, I saw a lot of people that were watching on like ESPN and stuff going, this is all they're doing with the Sphere? That's just... And basically they made it look like the screens were a bunch of scaffolding. Because the Sphere is a big dome where like half of it is seating. It looks like kind of like you're sitting in like a theater seats. Like the seating is set up like theaters. And then half of it is a dome with screen that you could do anything on. And so for the prelims, they really didn't utilize the screens much. But soon as that main card kicked off, oh my God, was it amazing. They made it look like because the whole theme of the show was celebrating Mexican Independence Day. And so like at times they made it seem like you were in like a Mexican town square or like an Aztec village. They also at times made it look like you were outside in space. It was awesome. And yes, people have said WWE should run there. But the Sphere is extremely expensive to run. To the point where if the UFC were to go back for another show, I don't think they would do it for at least 3-4 years. Because it costs that much to run an event in. Basically, Dana White was like, we're from Vegas. The Sphere's in Vegas. We at least got to try it once. And it was the most successful gate that the UFC's ever had. But that is because they got about, I think it was like 15 to 17,000 people. I didn't see the final number. But the reason it was so successful is because they charged out the ass for these tickets. And I don't know if WWE would do that. And I see a lot of people.
Who owns the Sphere?
So the Sphere is owned by two different companies, Sphere Entertainment and Vivek Properties, I think it's called. Sphere Entertainment is a spin-off company of Caesars, and Vivek is a real estate company out of New York that is a spin-off of Madison Square Garden. So, and I know this because I was talking to a friend about it earlier and we looked it up because we were both wondering. Anyways, so the issue here is everyone's like, oh, WWE should run a show there over WrestleMania week. Do Mania, in Allegiant Stadium with their 60,000 people, but go here and run it. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think WWE is going to run a Raw or Smackdown or do a Wednesday night, special event from the Sphere WrestleMania week. It could, but I don't think. With as much as the Sphere costs to run, I don't think we ever see WWE in there. It would be awesome. It would be amazing. But I don't think it ever happens. But they did
It's
show
not, and I don't think it's big enough. I don't think it's big enough to do a pay-per-view, wouldn't it?
not a Mania, but any other show. Yeah, you can. I think UFC. What was the UFC 306? They had like 15 to 17. Like if you set it up properly, you can get almost 17,000 people in there. You could do. I mean, that's going to be more people than I think are going to be a bad blood, or about the same. Because if you go UFC 306 attendance. UFC 306 did just a little over 16,000 in attendance. So, yeah. And for a WWE pay-per-view or a Saturday night's main event special on NBC, that's plenty of people for that. Not a Mania, no. Maybe not even a Royal Rumble anymore. But for a Bad Blood, for a Bash in Vegas show, if you want to use that name, whatever name they're gonna go with, Backlash, Payback, No Mercy, like it'd be fine for one of those. But the reason I talk about that is because they showed footage from it, because Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio were both in attendance at UFC 306. They had them seated on separate sides of the building. Joe Tessitore noted that Rey and Dom, they were seated separately. Rey also gave Dana White a white Rey Mysterio mask as well. So then there was a Bronson Reed video promo hyping him up for the match that never happened. Bronson Reed versus Braun Strowman. This shit was cool. Like, this was great. What does Big E say? Big meaty men
slapping meat.
That's it. Big meaty men slapping meat. I always butcher it. Anyways, that's what this match was. Big meaty men slapping meat. This is the definition of a meat match, if I ever seen one. And I know AEW tried to have the meat match 4-way or whatever. No. This is a meat match right here. Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. As soon as Braun Strowman entered the ring, Reed tried to charge at him. Braun sidestepped him. Reed went chest first into the corner and popped the top turnbuckle off. It snapped, and there was no more top rope connected. The ref then checked on Reed to see how he was feeling. Strowman was then going to do his run around, choo-choo trying tackle spot, but Reed threw, quote-unquote, a fan from the front row at Braun Strowman. That popped me huge. I'm like, what the fuck? And Joe Tessitore's like, I think that's a fan. Wade, did he throw a fan at Braun Strowman? And I'm like, true wrestling fans going to know it's not a real fan, but still, to throw just a person at Braun? Hell yeah. That was great. So Braun's down. Reed then celebrates his actions, but Braun gets back up and tackles him through the barricade into the timekeeper's area, knocking all the barricades down there. Wade Barrett called this the greatest 60 seconds in the history of this industry. The ref then called for some help. These two weren't done. Reed tried to leave through the crowd. Braun Strowman says, screw that, I'm going after you. Strowman then chucked Reed into an equipment box and into a wall backstage. Strowman then tossed around some security guards and tipped over a golf cart. Reed then splashed Braun Strowman off of some equipment boxes through a couple of tables moments later. Reed then kind of got to his feet and stumbled away. And then there was an obvious fake wall. Well, that wall was there for these two men to go through as Braun Strowman tackled Bronson Reed through the wall. Officials then checked on both men. You saw Sean Daivari running back and forth a couple times, go check on them and get more people, and check on them and get more people. And the crowd's chanting, holy shit. And yeah, it was a holy shit moment. I thought this was great. After the break, there was a million people checking on them, medical personnel, this and that. We go to Adam Pearce, and he's on the phone. Yeah, let me know what they're doing. Keep me updated. Got it. Thanks. Well, this is awesome. Just let these two guys keep just beating the crap out of each other every week. What did you think of this?
All right, this was awesome. I really enjoyed this part.
My one thing here, though, I was like, they tackled him through the fake wall. Why couldn't they do the Bobby Lashley Braun Strowman spot where he tackled him through the freaking stage? Remember that one?
Yeah, that was like the first episode of Raw that Paul Heyman was in control of.
I believe so. Yeah. Well, Bobby Lashley speared him like through the video panel. The panel pops off and they go flying off. Yeah, that was great. That was great. That's kind of what this was, I guess, supposed to replicate somewhat, sorta. But yeah, no, they should have let him fight up at the stage and break the stage.
No, like when so when they did the car one, when WrestleVotes, like I think I already said this like before, like WrestleVotes said that there was gonna be a huge spot with the Bronson Reed and Braun Strowman match. I thought the ring was gonna collapse or something.
Oh, do the superplex with the collapsing ring thing. We haven't seen that in a while. So I mean, bring it back. I could see it happening eventually.
Last time we seen that was in 2017.
That's what I was thinking.
I believe. I haven't seen that in a while.
I know. Coming up on what, 8 years? So Esports Gaming Rules with another bit donation. He said, did Kairi Sane won because I think she deserves a WWE Women's title shot, even with Io and Kairi possibly getting a tag title shot? Well, first off, Kairi didn't have a match. Kairi is injured, couldn't do the match. Io had the match. And he says, what do you think of Monet's team not happy with Megan Thee Stallion starting having a relationship with WWE instead of with Monet? I don't know anything about that. I saw kind of like a couple tweets about it today. It's kind of not my genre to know about these rappers and all their stuff and like all that stuff. It's like I kind of looked into it, but I really didn't look too much into it because it's like, oh, well, she's already got a thing with WWE. So like PW Insider posted that she had been talking with doing something with Mercedes since like February, and she wanted to work with Mercedes and then WWE. I don't even know if she has a relationship with WWE, to be honest. WWE is just using her song as the theme for SmackDown. That doesn't mean she has a working relationship with WWE. So that's all I'm going to say. If Mercedes wants to work with her, I think she still can, but I don't know.
What did you think of the logo for SmackDown?
I liked it. I thought it was creative. I thought it was creative and different, but different just enough to where it still fits what we know as the SmackDown logo and what the original logo and all the iterations have been. So I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I saw someone say it reminded like that logo of like The Rock for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to find Mike Johnson.
It honestly reminded me of like the old. It reminded me of what the old school like SmackDown logo kind of looked like a little bit.
Exactly. So it's supposed to be where it's got the smack down. That's how it's always been. The SmackDown logo has always been the smack on top, down on the bottom. They've just done different iterations and colorways and stuff, but it's always been either blue and white or blue and white and black. Or so yeah, no, it stayed with the tried and true what SmackDown logos have always been. But as far as the Megan Thee Stallion, WWE, Mercedes stuff, here's what is being reported. It was from Mike Johnson of PW Insider, as he does write the following. Hip-hop star Megan Thee Stallion's song Never Play is now the opening theme song for WWE's Friday Night SmackDown. But at one point, there were expectations that she would instead partner with Mercedes Moné in All Elite Wrestling. PWInsider.com can confirm. This past February, Megan Thee Stallion and Mercedes Moné met at the Crunchyroll Anime Awards in Japan as they were fans of each other. The meeting opened up negotiations between Megan's manager, Mike B. of Rock Nation, and Moné's manager, Kevin Undergaro. We are told that after the two sides had agreed to do something together, Moné publicly mentioned the idea while promoting AW All in London. Noting that she was hoping to get Stallion in the ring in AEW. There had been conversations about the two doing something together in WWE as far back as 2021. After Moné went public, WWE made the deal to have Stallion's song Never Play, which, as you might imagine, caught the Moné circle by surprise. Whether that means the end of any potential Moné-Stallion alliance remains to be seen, but obviously the WWE deal didn't help. So again, I don't know exactly how much to look into this or what really to look into here. But this is all that is being reported, and this is what's going around today. That, Monet made it known that she wants to work with Megan Thee Stallion, maybe bring her into AEW, and then WWE was like, hey, we want to use your song for the SmackDown theme. I don't know anything further past that, so can't really give any thoughts because I don't really know where it goes. I don't know if it's soured anything, if it has not, this, that. Yeah. Any thoughts?
I mean, not really. No, I all I've seen is just people just keep complaining about the theme song because they're like it's supposed to be like a rock theme or something.
Be whatever the hell they want. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Also, Esports Gaming Rules says you start rewatching Heels on Netflix, brother. Of course I have. Freaking course I have. I finished season 1. Now I'm on season 2. Gotta get those numbers up for the Spade brothers. Sami Zayn then, Ludwig Kaiser approaches Adam Pearce, who was stressed out in his office. Pearce told him, I'm working on something, finding Gunther's next challenger. But Gunther says that he doesn't want to fight Sami Zayn, so I got to find somebody else. But Sami actually makes a great point to be that challenger. Kaiser was baffled that Zayn would even think that he's a potential challenger. All of a sudden, Sami Zayn's music hits. The camera then shows the screen behind them change to showing Sami Zayn coming out to the ring. First told Kaiser that Gunther should speak to me personally if he's got a problem with anything happening right now. Basically, he said, I don't want the lackey. The champ has got a problem with the way I do business. He can come talk to me himself. This then led to a Sami Zayn segment with Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther. Zayn enters the ring to a big reaction. Wade said he looked like a lumberjack in his plaid. All week, he'd been locked in the memory of standing in the ring with Bret Hart in Calgary. He meant what he said last week when he called Hart his hero. Last week was very motivational because he heard what Hart said about what it meant to be a champion. Zayn wanted to be just like him. He needed to be that as well. He needed to become the World Heavyweight Champion. He needed to be the guy who defended his title week in and week out. And that was the kind of champion the fans deserve. The crowd starts chanting for Sami. Unfortunately, though, current champion Gunther has repeatedly declined my challenge. Gunther claimed that Zayn was not on his level, yet Zayn didn't believe that and didn't think that Gunther actually believed it either. Zayn thinks that he's in Gunther's head. Gunther remembers what happened back at WrestleMania. Gunther knows that Zayn beat him before and can beat him again. Gunther is scared of Sami. Ludwig Kaiser would then interrupt. Kaiser called all of this nonsense and stated that Gunther couldn't be scared of Zayn. Gunther was the most dominant force in all of WWE, and if anything, he was trying to save Zayn from the worst embarrassment of his entire life. Zayn called WrestleMania the greatest moment of his career. It was the first time Zayn's family looked up to him instead of down at him. Miracles didn't happen twice. We encouraged Zayn to enjoy his moment because it ain't happening again. Zayn said that Gunther didn't keep Kaiser to speak for him. In fact, he didn't need Kaiser at all. Zayn told Kaiser that he didn't need Gunther either. Zayn knew that Kaiser had the same desire that he does. That's why he ditched his tag partner, Giovanni Vinci. But he wouldn't earn any respect as Gunther's mouthpiece. Zayn told him, you have the balls to speak for yourself. Gunther would then finally enter. Gunther asked Kaiser if he had anything to say to him. Kaiser was like, well, I kind of do have something to get off my chest. And he stretched it out. He's like, well, and then he clotheslined Sami. He almost kind of made it look like he was going to clothesline Gunther, but then he turned and attacked Sami. Kaiser then held Zayn down as Gunther answered his challenge. Gunther said the answer is still no and left the ring. Kaiser tried attacking Zayn again, but Zayn gave him a German suplex and a haluva kick as Gunther watched on. It wasn't bad. Again, another segment to build up a potential match, which we know is going to happen. It was better than the actual wrestling on the show. So what did you think of the actual segment here with Sami and Gunther and Ludwig?
I think the rumor is that they might have Ludwig like split from Gunther and have him just be a singles guy.
Eventually, yeah. They've kind of teased it a couple times.
That is the rumor right now.
Right. Nothing like set in stone, but it's going to come eventually. Like, they're not going to stay together forever.
That's going to feel really weird, though, that everyone in Imperium is just like on their own now.
Giovanni Vinci losing in freaking 3 seconds. That was weird as shit.
I heard, yeah, a lot of people were pretty unhappy about that.
Yeah. Esports Gaming Rules to come more bit donations. Says, what do you think of Grayson Waller coming back to PWA Australia? I think that's awesome. I think it's very awesome that WWE is allowing wrestlers to go work for other companies all around the world. We do know that JD McDonough and Finn Balor are going to go work. It's on the tip of my tongue. I just had it. IWC?
Noah?
No, in Ireland. They're going to go work a indie show in Ireland. It's not IWC. Fuck. Chat, help me out here. Where are they going again? Hold on. OTT. That's what it is. OTT. They're going to work at the OTT anniversary show. So that's really cool. So Grayson's going back to Australia to do a show for PWA. We see NXT wrestlers work TNA. Only a matter of time before they get and we've seen a couple of NXT wrestlers go to Noah. Only a matter of time, though, before WWE gets a Mexico partner. Yet, you didn't watch NXT last week, did you?
Was that the one where Hammerstone debuted?
Yes.
I saw that one, yeah.
Okay, so did you see what they said about Tavion Heights coming back from Japan?
What'd they say?
All they said was that Tavion Heights came back from working in Japan. Not a mention about Noah at all. I'm like, oh, well, you're a pretty shitty partner. Like they're booking Tavion Heights and why can't I think of his name all of a sudden? The other guy that went. Fuck. My mind is shit today. But they were calling them, and Noah calling them NXT wrestlers. Then they come back and WWE can't even tell them that they worked for Noah. They're just like, oh yeah, he just came back from a stint in Japan. Like, fuck you. Expert Gaming Rules also says Armando Estrada signed a nostalgia contract with WWE. Yeah, cool. Many people sign those contracts and it leads to nothing. It's just so they can make action figures, put them on T-shirts, and maybe the video game. Josh Briggs, thank you since Saturday. Yes, Josh Briggs. But yeah, whenever we see ex-wrestler signed a Legends deal, 99% of the time, it means nothing. Now, I say 99 because Jesse the Body Ventura signed a Legends deal, but may have also signed another deal with WWE, as Greg Gagne is stating that Jesse Ventura may do some commentary on the Saturday night's main event shows. So that's one of the 1%ers. For yes, he signs a Legends deal, but may sign to do a little bit more as well. But with Armando Estrada, I highly doubt, and I could be wrong, but I highly doubt he comes and does anything else. Now, unless they sign him to a deal and he becomes like the manager of Jacob Fatu when Jacob Fatu breaks off of the bloodline, cool. But as of right now, I don't see anything like that happening.
What if he becomes their wise man?
Oh, Lord. Solo's wise man, Armando Estrada. That'd be an interesting one. I didn't think about it that way. I just thought of making Jacob the next Umaga and then using Umaga's old handler. And if you don't remember, former ECW general manager.
No, but like imagine, this would actually make a lot more sense now that you say that.
Uh-huh.
Like two like ECW legends, like Paul Heyman, Armando Estrada.
I don't know if I call Armando Estrada.
The wise man, they're each on.
I don't know if I'd call Estrada.
He was a general manager.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call him an ECW legend. He was a general manager for EC, or what do they call it? ECWWE. Not the same at all. But I get where you're coming from. I do get where you're coming from, and it would make sense. Two guys that had power within a version of ECW.
Like Paul Heyman, the original ECW.
Right.
Armando Estrada, the 2.0 ECW kind of.
So you've got the OTC, the original tribal chief, the OECW, original ECW and Paul Heyman, and then you got ECW 2.0 and the Bloodline 2.0. Huh? I get you. That makes sense.
I mean, I don't think Armando has done anything on actual like television in a while, but we'll see where this goes.
I can tell you right now.
Last time he actually did something in wrestling was manage Jacob Fatu and MLW for a little bit, I think, or I think it's just on the Indies.
That's what I was thinking as well. I think that's all it's been. Yeah, the last thing listed on his Wikipedia was that he was the manager of Jacob Fatu for All American Wrestling in March of 2019. He also, after leaving WWE, opened a restaurant in Glendale, Arizona, and it has since closed. So, yeah, he hasn't really done much in wrestling. So, moving forward, Kathy Kelly interviewed Damian Priest, and Morgan interjected. Liv Morgan, that is. Morgan called Priest a former champion who was already a has-been. She called them losers, he and Rhea. Priest couldn't believe someone in Judgment Day actually had a set. He encouraged her to hold on to them because Rhea would shove them down her throat. He also told her to kiss Dom goodbye because he was going to pummel him tonight. He's going to beat down her boyfriend. He warned her that he was just getting started with those boys. Priest then said, bye. Susia, I think is what he called her. Susia. And then he left. WWE let us know that Jade Cargill is part of the next WWE 2K24 DLC pack, and Jade will be rated at an 85. Man, I got so bored with that game, it ain't even installed on my PlayStation anymore. Just saying.
Which game? WWE2K?
Yeah. I haven't played a game in months.
I mean, I want to play it more. The My Rise was fun.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you did that.
I did some of it. I don't know how far I actually got because I don't know. Like, I got through, I want to say maybe half, but I don't even know. But
no, like the storyline in My Rise this year was actually really good. I thought it was better than the one last year.
And what I did the most of was,
I think the one,
go for it.
I think the one last year was just you just like feud with Shawn Michaels on the main roster.
I believe so. What I did the most of actually was
like this year. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
Go for it.
So like this year though, it was like Roman held the title for so long, he relinquishes the belt. You eventually win it, then Roman comes back and tries to take the title away from you.
Yeah, so what I did the most was the My Faction stuff because I liked all the challenges. It was like, hey, you got to beat this kind of a match with someone on your crew, or you can use, these guys on your team. I like that kind of stuff where you got to build a faction, build a group, get the cards, all that, level them up, and then go through and do all the challenges and beat these guys to get this and beat these guys to get that. That's the kind of stuff that I like. That would be something that would pull me back in.
Did you ever unlock action figure John Cena? Because I tried to unlock him and the code like expired.
I believe
you can only unlock him from a certain time.
I believe I did. Yeah, I do, because I think we did. I was playing with the kids. We did John Cena action figure versus Cody action figure. But I never went in and did the Hogan one. Because the Hogan one was you had to buy the toy from the store and then put the code in there and this and that. So, moving forward at Eos Sky versus Bianca Belair. This was a good match. I think it was the best match of the night. It went 12 minutes and 20 seconds. They mirrored each other early on. and had a back and forth exchange. Sky was in control after a break, but Belair powered out of the submission. Belair then hit a shoulder tackle, a drop kick, and a corner shoulder tackle, and 10 punches in the corner. She fought back with some uppercuts and a drop kick, a Meteora in the corner, and a missile drop kick for a 2. Belair then came back with a spine buster and a moonsault for a 2. Belair then tried a press slam, but Sky slipped out and hit a German suplex into a bridge for a 2. Crowd then chanted, "This is awesome," as Zayn hit a suicide dive. Belair then grabbed Zayn in a vertical suplex position and actually carried her up the steps and chucked her into the ring. Very impressive here. The crowd popped for it. Belair then went for a 450, but Sky got her knees up. Sky then went for a moonsault, but Belair grabbed at her into a KOD position. Sky then countered into a small package and actually pinned Bianca to pick up the victory. So I'm pretty damn sure Damage Control getting that tag title shot off of this win. What did you think? I thought it was a really good match.
I think Damage Control is getting that title shot.
Yeah. And Joe Tessitore afterwards put this over as like a huge win, beating Bianca. Esports Gaming Rule says, do you think the Hell in a Cell will be as violent a bit as the Swerve Hangman Steel Cage match? Because we may see blood. Well, we'll probably see. Punk's probably going to bleed. But I don't. It's not going to be as violent, no. Because A, there ain't going to be no needles. B, there ain't going to be no cinder blocks. C, there ain't going to be no unprotected chair shots. Yeah, Punk might bleed. I mean, Cody bled on SmackDown in the cage match. That didn't seem super violent. It's more of the fact of, and I'm just going to say it again, I felt like AEW let those two go a little too far in that match to where it became more of the spectacle instead of entertainment for me. Now, I know people like that stuff. Car crash. Let's watch these two guys try to kill each other thing and give no two shits about their health. But in the end, WWE ain't going to do that. What do you think on all that? You think WWE is going to let Punk and Drew be as violent as Swerve and Hangman?
No, no way. I don't see that, no.
Here's my thing. I don't even think they have to worry about letting them be that violent. I just don't think Punk and Drew themselves would want to be that violent. Now, I think Punk might want to blade. Punk might want to, Crimson Mask it or get a lot of blood. But I don't see them doing all the kinds of spots that Swerve and Hangman did. There ain't going to be no needles. There ain't going to be no cinder blocks. No unprotected chair shots. So, just saying. There was a video package for American Made. This is pretty cool. And they showed us a new American Made logo that was so much better than the ones they had on them shirts the last couple of weeks. Basically, this is a cool montage that made it feel like 4th of July weekend, kind of. These guys were hanging out on a big old Jeep. They had American flags. Almost made them seem like baby faces. Almost. Until, well, Chad called Wyatt 6 freaks. And then I'm like, okay, they're still heels. Never mind. What'd you think of this promo video? Trying to hype up American Made in a random parking lot.
I thought it was good.
I thought it was fun.
Did you see do you ever see Trick Williams diss track music videos?
No. I know what
there was one he made about Pete Dunne.
Julius was in it or something like that.
Yeah, he had like a bulletproof vest on you with like shades and just started just randomly dancing in that video.
I saw screenshots. Here's my thing with that. They mentioned that on NXT. Not Julius was in it, but the diss track. And Trick put out a diss track against Pete Dunne, but then they never even showed it or aired any of it or anything. It was just like, they said it and then they just went away from it. And I'm like, oh, okay. Anyways, I don't know. No, I didn't see it though. I heard about it. Kaiser told Kathy Kelly they would expose Sami Zayn next week. Kaiser said that Zayn wanted to speak about his past and his loyalty, but Kaiser wanted to talk about Zayn's. Zayn was best friends with Kevin Owens, but the two of them always turned on one another. The second the other found more success. That's the kind of man Sami is. And it's sad. He's a sad, bitter man, jealous of his best friend and jealous of what he once was. Owens was once what Sami will be a world champion. Will never be a world champion. Oh, this is great. Short and to the point. And great delivery by Kaiser. Kaiser's a really good talker.
Oh, yeah.
Next week's Monday Night Raw is coming to us from, I want to say, Ontario, California. Yeah, because SmackDown's in Sacramento. And then Ontario is Raw, basically LA. But if it's Ontario, it means it's Toyota Center. No, Toyota Arena. Toyota Center's in Houston. Toyota Arena. We got Sami Zayn versus Ludwig Kaiser. Drew McIntyre will return and be on the show. And the IC title will be on the line when Bron Breaker defends against Jey Uso. Ilya Dragunov was backstage congratulating Jey Uso. Wished him luck against Bron Breaker. Jey said, yeet, and they fist bumped before Jey left. Judgment Day would then approach old Ilya. Balor advised him to choose his friends more carefully. Dragunov said that he respected Ripley, Priest, and Jey, and that was more than he could say about them. Balor warned him that they wouldn't deliver their message too nicely next week. Basically, Finn's out here saying, you're friends with our enemies? We're going to beat you up. We're going to beat you up. I didn't care for this at all. Like, you think Ilya Dragunov, of all people, and we were worried about them? Like, Ilya will try to take them all on by himself. What'd you think?
I don't think he's going to be worried at all.
No. Also, it's like, really? You pushed Ilya Dragunov when he came to the main roster as this like great wrestler, this like guy that's gonna do great things, and now it's like, oh, he's gonna be used to get beat up to prove I don't even know. A little upsetting what they're doing with Dragunov on the main roster, if I'm gonna be honest.
Still early, honestly.
Right.
But yeah, I do get where you're coming from.
Also to mention, Judgment Day were wearing their Street Trash shirts all day or all night. I don't know if they're getting the official name change, but they got the merch out there and they were wearing them shirts tonight. Street Trash. This then led to our main event. Damian Priest versus Dominic Mysterio. Went 12 minutes. Priest dominated early on before break. Even set it for a razor's edge. Balor was about to slip into the ring. So instead, he just hit the move. Priest didn't hit the move. Priest let go. Dom escaped the ring. Priest then went after Dom and chucked him back in the ring. As Dom distracted the referee, McDonough distracted Priest, and Balor shoved him into the ring post. Dom then followed this up with a suicide dive. After the break, Dom hit a tornado DDT and got a 2 off of it. Dom then chopped Priest, but kind of just didn't do much to him. Priest then punched and kicked Dom and hit a flatliner for a 2. Priest then hit a broken arrow, and Morgan put Dom's foot on the rope to break the pin. Ripley then tackled Morgan over the announce table, and they were basically wiped out and also took out Barrett in the process. Dom then tried to dive, but Priest caught him and shoved him into Finn Balor before a super kick to Carlito. Dom then drop kicked Priest into the ropes and hit a 619, but missed a frog splash. Priest then dropped him with the clothesline and hit a South of Heaven to pick up the victory. So before we get to the post-match, what did you think of the match itself? I thought it was okay.
It was okay, just nothing special. I think it was just the post-match that was more important.
Right. So as far as that post-match does go, the male members of Judgment Day swarmed and beat down Damian Priest as soon as the match ended. The crowd chanted yeet as they wanted Jey Uso to come out and make the save. Ripley went after Dom, but Morgan shoved her into the ring steps. Jey Uso did eventually come out as music hit and he came down to the ring, but before he can get to the bottom of the ramp, out came Bron Breaker and speared him on the ramp. Morgan then gave Ripley an oblivion, while Balor gave Damian Priest a coup de grace 3 consecutive times. Judgment Day then stood tall as the show went off the air and the crowd was going wild, booing and just all kinds of heat for the Judgment Day. Very effective segment at the end. Very effective. Getting the Judgment Day over as this just despicable, hated heel group. Really good job.
Oh, yeah.
So with all of that, we're getting the poll here up on Twitch. What did you think of Raw? Liked it. It was right. I didn't like it. As far as the polls do go, because you know what we thought of the show. Now it's time to hear what you guys thought of the show. As far as the polls do go, as we look at the threads poll, 40% liked the show, 40% thought it was just all right, and 20% didn't like it. Looking at the Twitter X poll here, 76% liked the show, 16% thought it was just all right, and 6% didn't like it. As we have the YouTube community poll, 78% liked the show, 18% thought it was just all right, and 5% didn't like it. Chris says, I liked it, but end of the show, not like. This feud with Terror Twins versus former friends of Judgment Day ends at Bad Blood in Hot Atlanta. Actually, it's Hot Atlanta, but whatever. Chris says, I liked it, and this person said, damn good show. At no point did I switch over to that fake NFL crap or even consider it. Who won? The Eagles lose? I saw someone that said Eagles blew it at the end.
Eagle. They did. Kirk Cousins did threw a touchdown. Drake London to win it.
Gotcha. As far as the YouTube live poll does go, 82% liked the show, 16% thought it was just all right, and 2% didn't like it. And finally, the Twitch poll, 80% liked the show, 20% thought it was just all right. With that, guys, that is going to wrap everything up. I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and podcast services all around the globe like Stitcher, Spotify, Google Pod, Apple Pod, Anchor, iHeartRadio, and so much more. But Luke, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me over at Twitter X at Petke_21. And you can also find me over at Twitch at Young Grasshopper Luke.
With that, guys, I'm going to try and go live in a little bit on Twitch, twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy. Maybe get a couple rounds of Fortnite in before the downtime happens, because they got downtime tonight for the big update with more stuff being added in tomorrow for the Marvel season. So go over there, twitch.tv/TimmyBuddy. Hit that follow button. That way you do know when I go live. With that, guys, have a great night, and we'll be back here on Wednesday for AEW Dynamite. Have a good one, guys.